Let's get to the big talking point. Finishing under the safety car.
It's about the top 10. Let them race. And it would have been a great sprint finish. In the US and IndyCar, this would never happen.
Kimi, straight on the radio.
It's very unfortunate with the young Italian. He was crying in his car. It took him like a minute and a half to get out of the car. There has been 3 weekends of a DNF, an engine failure.
That's right.
A third place finish in Austria. Well, he finished, but outside the points. I understand his frustration.
Amazingly, Ferrari's 250th
Grand Prix. They're mega off the start line.
They're like rocket ships.
Rocket ships. We need a Ferrari to win again. It lightens up the sport more than anything before.
Max,
Yeah.
he was furious.
Mistakes can happen in any organization, but if you have 2 mistakes of this caliber within 7 days, then you have a big problem.
So to be clear, car issue, not driver issue.
It's a car issue, definitely. Yeah, unacceptable in a situation where you are, and also becomes dangerous.
When he said bleep this car, which was quite a statement to make. The next 2 races are big for the future of Max Verstappen.
And I'm going to tell you, Belgium is not going to be much better. He's like really laid back, but he knows this number 1 on his car and his steering wheel will disappear at the end of the year, and he might not get it back ever again.
Well, it is the Pit Talk podcast powered by FERRARI. The morning after the night before. Not that there really was a night before for me, Robert, because I've not slept.
You have an all-nighter.
I've done
Little
an
red
all-nighter.
eyes.
Yeah, I tell you what, if the cameraman were to zoom into my eyes right now, you can blame the FIFA World Cup for it, Rob.
F1,
F1,
FIFA World Cup.
Brazil, Norway, England against Mexico. We are filming this podcast literally 2 hours after the
So you've been awake for what, 22 hours now?
I think 23 hours.
23 already, and counting.
23 hours in counting. I'm going to have a nap at the end of this recording.
Do 45 minutes and then you're done,
and then I'm done. So if I fall asleep during this podcast, all eyes will be on you, Robert.
Yes.
Your job is
Bring
to
it on.
entertain and inform us. All jokes aside, FIFA World Cup, brilliant.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the British Grand Prix, Robert,
One of the biggest sporting events in the world. We've
it
witnessed.
delivered.
It delivered. It's
564,000 patrons
unbelievable.
across the weekend.
Sprint race weekend, which means it's extra special for fans because there's a lot happening. Only 1 hour of practice, straight into qualifying, sprint race on Saturday. Yeah, the weather was awesome. We never speak about the weather normally in England, but the weather was very nice. And, you know, it's the home of motor racing. So many F1 teams around the track.
Yeah.
It's a special place.
You said it though. I mean, there's a couple of things that help it. The fact that Lewis Hamilton got on pole for the sprint race. Okay, he didn't convert that to victory. But, I mean, you were honest when we were having a little pre-coffee before starting this podcast.
Your third coffee.
My 25th in the last 3 hours, I think. But you made the point, until 30 laps into Sunday's race, the weekend was actually a bit ho-hum.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I think it's also a big success, the British Grand Prix, because there's so many Brits. I think there are 5 Brits now in total. But the fact that Lewis is in it to win it this year in a Ferrari, quite a big difference than last year. He's obviously bringing a huge support fan base. Lando Norris, current world champion, he has his own grandstand in turn 15.
16,000 were packed in there.
Unbelievable.
On Friday they were packed in there.
And you're very recognizable with the bright yellow colors, like Valentino Rossi colors from his days in MotoGP. But yeah, the sprint race was a bit disappointing, if you ask me, because it was predicted by some of the drivers that the fastest corners of the track, Copse, Maggots, Baggots, one of the flowing parts of where you need your big balls to show, you know, what you can do in a Formula One car, where a Formula One car really gets to life. It was a charging station. You could hear it on board, like the revs drop, the downshifts. Not the best place for the current regulations of a Formula One car, but the overtaking then afterwards was, it's all about pressing the button at the right time and saving, harvesting. It's part of the show. You still have to do it the best you can, but Lewis therefore lost out.
He did.
On the win.
And well, listen, let's get to the big talking point from Sunday. Of course, yes, sprint weekend, yes.
Yeah.
A little bit of talking points from Saturday. Sprint, then into qualifying, then into the race. Ultimately, a little bit of controversy, finishing under the safety car.
Not good.
I was a bit disappointed, in all honesty, but having seen what we witnessed not far from us here in Dubai, down in Abu Dhabi in 2021, you can understand why there was a little bit of a reluctance to maybe bend it because there was so much fallout.
Yeah, but then
21.
bend it, but they also said they made mistakes, Chris. Because we all witnessed, we all know how the procedure works. If there's a safety car, everybody has to follow the safety car, the lead pack, and the cars that are lapped have to unlap themselves and drive all the way around and then, stick in behind the queue. But if there's one race or one lap left in the race, all the fans behind the TV, on the track, you have to deliver a race under...
So I'm right in saying the rules state you must complete one full lap with all the cars back in the rightful place before you can go again.
But then again, it's all about the top 10 basically, because who cares who finished 13th, 14th, 15th? Doesn't really matter. We are focusing on the winner.
Yes.
We had pit stops made, last minute pit stops, because normally it's track position. Lewis Hamilton would not come in if he had known that there would be a finish under the safety car. So you go in, you get your red tires, like Charles Leclerc as well. George Russell was a sitting duck on his mediums, but he was the luckiest dog in the whole weekend.
To be fair, that bloke's not had much luck this year.
No, so I think it balanced out really, because he was nowhere, and then suddenly he finishes second, gets maximum points.
But it's not a good look. Here we are talking about the fact that the biggest crowd at an F1 event ever.
It gets a safety car finish. In the US, in IndyCar, this would never happen. They just don't allow it because it's more about the spectacle of racing. So if there's any chance you can do it, bend the rules a little bit, be flexible. They should be more flexible anyhow with these rules in Formula 1.
Because it's funny, because Martin Brundle, I was watching the Sky Sports coverage of it, and Martin was making the point that let the cars unlap themselves. Yeah. All of the cars did that. Once they get far enough into the distance,
you will never catch them anymore.
No, you don't need to be tucked. In behind.
No, because it's not about them.
Exactly.
They've been unlapped.
To your point.
It's about the top 10. Let them race. And it would have been a great sprint finish for one lap, all in, where they're going to deploy the battery, where you're going to push, where you're going to overtake. So that was very unfortunate.
It was interesting to see that Toto Wolff, and he was obviously delighted for his man, George Russell. He came out afterwards pretty vociferously and said, hey, listen, okay, it wasn't the spectacle, but rules are rules. We saw what transpired in 2021. So whilst it's not to everyone's liking, he was very much of the opinion that the decision was taken.
I know, because he was very unhappy with Michael Masi. Where's Michael Masi when you need him? I mean, in this case, it would have been a very different outcome. But it's the same with the rules and regulations for Kimi Antonelli. It's very unfortunate with the young Italian. He was crying in his car. Did you see? He had his visor down. It took him like a minute and a half to get out of the car just to absorb the frustration of winning one of the most prestigious Grand Prix of the season, the British Grand Prix. And he was on his way to victory. He had a perfect strategy.
He did. He was. I think he had 12 laps to chase down Charles.
Fresher tires, a tire offset of about 10 laps. So Charles knew he was a sitting duck.
Interesting thing about that, the Kimi, which in actual fact, if you look back on the race, it was Kimi Antonelli's problems that kind of kick-started the mayhem that we saw. Because lest we forget, George Russell, slow puncture.
Max spinning off the track was a big moment as well.
Max spinning off. Lewis had already incurred his 5-second penalty for not a jump start, but moving on the start grid. So at that point, when Kimi had his issues, the British Grand Prix from there kind of unraveled. It became a real entertaining kind of spectacle for 20-25 minutes, because up until that point, it had been a little bit,
tire saving, one-stop strategy, so not everybody's not pushing the tires really.
Like Lewis had dropped off,
Lewis dropping.
Charles had the lead, Kimi was hunting him down. Yeah. It was all a bit mundane.
What's going to happen on the strategy? Right. And then it suddenly kicked off. I was most surprised about Max spinning off, and that's because when I was on board, definitely this is not a driver error. This is again a mechanical failure, which it was. The rear wing didn't close. Same idea as last week. Fast right-hander where you turn in, no control of the rear end, no downforce, and lost
we'll get to it, because I want to just kind of press you on Max. I want to talk Kimi though, because one of the things that really, and we talked about this earlier as well before the podcast, the issue happens. We saw it in the replay. It was one of his ducts on the left-hand side of his car. It happens, Kimi, straight on the radio, something's happened in my car. I've got to come in. Yeah. And I think he only, 2, maximum 3 turns, and he was straight into the pitch, to the point the Mercedes boys and gals didn't know what the problem was. No. So he came into the pitch.
Changed the front wing.
They were
looked
guessing.
At the tires, touched the suspension.
Yes.
Guessing.
They were guessing. And I wonder, and this is a bit harsh, hindsight and all that, you've been in a driver's seat, I have not. Could Kimi have not stayed out for another lap, perhaps, just to give the team time to work out what the actual issue was, or split-second decision like that, better to get in?
Well, the thing is, it's one of the fastest tracks on the calendar. So you need to be committed through those corners. So if you cannot carry any speed, I mean, we've seen Lewis Hamilton finish on 3 wheels here and still win it. So if you're really on that part of the race, of course, you always try to finish, extract a point. It might make a difference at the end of the year to win it or lose it in the championship. But he's so low in the car. In general, you're very low in the car. You can see a Formula 1 car here behind us. So you don't see anything past the suspension. You can see the top of the tires. That's about it. So if there's something wrong, and the right-hand turns were blocked. Right. So there was no turn-in, really, no feeling. And I understand that you then get a bit in panic mode to the engineers.
And he
because,
did.
Let's not forget, Kimi had a fantastic run up until Monaco, including Monaco. And then it has been 3 weekends of a DNF, an engine failure.
That's right.
A 3rd place finish in Austria, and now another, almost.
Outside
he finished, but outside the points, not due to mechanical issue. So I understand his frustration, but it was a bit of panic mode because he had to come in again. Then they suddenly saw on the videos, oh, it's the brake duct. Tried to get it loose, snapped it off, carbon fiber. And he went out and he had a decent pace. You know, he could keep the Alpines behind him. But for him, very unfortunate, the safety car, because then the 5-second penalty because of, track limits. And dare I say, FIA stewards, be more flexible with the rules, because it states that if you get a track limit penalty, which means you had an advantage, you go faster, you cut the corner or something. In Kimi's case, it was quite clear that he was not getting any advantage. He was just trying to make the corner. The car would turn in straight or too late. You can't give the kid 5-second penalty.
So you were saying that needs to be altered? That
needs to be altered. You need to be more flexible. The rules are there, but you have to use common sense in certain situations. So, any situation is different than another. And in this particular case, 5-second penalty is a joke.
That's the problem though, Robert. We both know common sense and rules do not go hand in hand.
Sometimes it's too complex.
Exactly.
Too complex. Like with the wheel, we have the analysis of Lewis Hamilton moving at the start. That's quite clear, because the rules state, from the 3rd light on until the lights go out, any movement. So what drivers do, and we have a steering wheel here, what drivers try to do, and it's a Ferrari steering wheel, by the way, so it's Lewis's wheel, well, almost, the clutch. In Lewis's case, he has the clutch up here.
Yeah.
But you try to feel the bite point. And once you have the bite point, then you say, okay, this is going to be my launch. And if you then move at that stage, even though it's not a real advantage, it's probably more of a disadvantage.
Because all it is the car doesn't lunge forward. It just moves. It rocks.
It moves a little bit forward. So you could see, and with the onboard cameras, you cannot lie, because you see the Pirelli logo slowly moving.
That's it.
And that's it. You're done. So the penalty, and there's sensors in the tarmac, so you're done. So he knew it already, 5 seconds.
And the crazy thing is, those Ferrari cars, you don't need to.
They're mega off the start line.
They're like rocket ships.
Rocket ships. Because of their smaller turbo, they have a lot more. It's easier for them to rev. It's a longer procedure now. When the lights go on, they wait a little bit for this new engine regulation. So all the cars can get their RPM up and keep them there in a certain window. They have the best launches of the season, and it's one of the longest straights towards turn 1.
Second longest on the circuit, 650 meters down there into turn 1, and they used every single meter of it. The Ferrari boys were off into the distance.
Flying.
Kimi then makes that great move on Lewis. Then Lewis kind of recedes a little bit, and at that point, up until Kimi's problems, Kimi was destined to win it. But isn't it amazing? You think, wow, he's going to extend his lead at the top of the drivers'
suddenly his lead is only 25 points. It's 1 victory now for George Russell, and they're equal.
That's insane.
So he had a lot of bad luck, but they test his mental strength now as well with Kimi.
And not lost to me either, Robert. We were sat here a week ago talking about the fact that Charles, arguably of all the big names,
one of the worst seasons,
struggled with it. There was a feeling this weekend that he's maybe finally getting his head around it, and yet he goes on. A little bit of good luck. You need a little bit of good luck. We know that from week in, week out in the world of Formula 1. Gets that little bit of luck. Wins, I think, a first race win since Austin.
650 days or something it took him.
Austin,
I know how that feels.
Yeah, Austin. and then a couple of other zeros to that.
Couple of zeros.
Austin 2024, last time you won.
Crazy.
And amazingly, Ferrari's 250th
Grand Prix. And that's a big gap with the number 2 is McLaren. They have like 200, I think, 20 or something. So it's like 30 difference. It takes them a while. But Ferrari is still the legendary team. And they need, we've said it last year as well, we need a Ferrari to win again. Because it lightens up the sport more than anything before. And now they have 2 victories with 2 different drivers. And we're only in round 9.
Well, you were making the point. And again, at the start of the season, a lot of people talking about the fact the Mercedes in pre-season testing.
They're going to run off with it.
They're going to run. They're going to go into the distance. Then, early part of this season, we thought, wow, it's going to be George, it's going to be Kimi, everyone else is going to be fighting over scraps. All of a sudden now, with Kimi's 2 outside of the points of the last 3, with George, for me, still susceptible to a bit of a blowout, whether that's between the ears.
Well, he won in Austria, finished second here in Silverstone. It's a good run, but a bit lucky.
Correct. And we know that he's had his foibles, he's had his issues. Ferrari are very much in this, but you were telling me off air, they're spending a lot of money to be...
They're spending a lot of money. So there's a budget cap of $145 million, which you can spend on a lot, except for the top 3 management and the driver salaries. In Ferrari's case, with Lewis Hamilton behind the wheel and Charles Leclerc, that's a good thing, because otherwise everything would be done before the race, before the first race. You can't even go racing then. And that money you can spend as you like. But the thing is, if you really push the investments for development of the car in the initial phase of the season, just to make sure you have a head start, then you run out of money at the end of the season. And I'm not talking about crashes, because I remember the days that Red Bull had Perez behind the wheel and he crashed a lot. That goes from your budget cap. So when the moment one car crashes in one team, you know that's a couple of $1 million we cannot use for development of our race car. So it sort of hurts the other driver as well. Well, the Ferrari boys are obviously not crashing that much, not at all, but they're racing fairly and pushing each other. And it sounds like the Ferrari is investing more than any other team at the moment on the grid. But it's a choice. It's a strategy. And we'll see after summer or near the end of the season if they still have budget left. But probably Ferrari or McLaren or Mercedes have the most budget then. And then they will end on top.
Yeah, they will kick on because, hey, listen, as things stand, 9 races in.
It's only 35 points behind, I think, for the Drivers' Championship. So, Ferrari, they got a huge jump on Mercedes yesterday because they had 2 cars on the podium. So Ferrari is back, and this is quite a Ferrari area where we are here at Emilia Cafe.
It's very Ferrari heavy. If you're ever in this part of the world, do pop in and check this place out. You don't need to be a Ferrari fan, but it might help. Yeah, because they do love their Ferrari in here. But yes, okay, that's all. And there has been a little bit of disappointment on the certainly in the Lewis Hamilton camp, given the fact that they made the stop. We understand the reasons for that. But then George, who didn't pit,
got the track position.
Second and a half.
A gift.
An absolute free gift. Yeah. And then he's hoping that safety car stays out, and it did. So well done to Charles Leclerc. Great victory for him. It would have been amazing for a final lap shootout.
Fantastic.
Charles and Lewis would have both been on soft.
Yeah, you have no chance because the temperature dropped so much behind the safety car, and people don't recognize it because we have Bernd Mailander who's driving the safety car for the past 20 years, and he's pushing, he's on it, right? In knife edge, and then there's the Formula 1 driver behind. Can the safety car please hurry up because I'm losing temperature in my tires?
But it was funny. Yesterday he was going slow. He was trying to give at every opportunity to get at least one lap.
But the lights did go out. That's why it was confusing. For 8 seconds, the lights went out on the hanger straight.
Yes.
So the drivers were focusing, and then suddenly the lights went on again. So that was a software glitch.
They said it was a glitch.
Yeah, which you can't have at this level. I was really disappointed.
One of the other big storylines, your boy, you know where I'm going, Max.
Yeah.
He was furious. You actually sent us a video.
Yeah,
there's a little clip.
That is a meeting you would love to be a fly on the wall.
A meeting of minds.
A meeting of minds. Laurent Mekies, team principal, Red Bull Racing, Raymond and Jos, the father of Max, talking to him after the race.
And then you see Max appear straight up the stairs.
Very pissed off.
Lauren is like, oh, I better chase after him.
Press release came out again. We're very sorry again to Max. We apologize, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, mistakes can happen in any organization. But if you have 2 mistakes of this caliber within 7 days, then you have a big problem.
So to be clear, car issue, not driver issue.
It's a car issue, definitely.
Because when you said about the wing, I went back and watched it. The wing does close. Maybe a second, 2 seconds before the corner. He turns into it. He loses the back of the car.
But it did also close in Austria. But the thing is, it takes time when the wing closes.
Yes.
It takes time to create the downforce again, because we don't have the ground effect anymore, where it sucks the car to the ground. So all the downforce comes from the top of the car. So the wing is open, the wing closes, boom, you get the downforce. In Austria, it took too long, so the downforce levels didn't go up to 100%, and the commitment was there to turn in, but nobody was home on the back, so he spun off, hit the gravel, hit the wall. And here it was the same result, but a different mechanical issue.
Right.
And that is unacceptable in a situation where you are, and also becomes dangerous. Let's be honest, you have to have big balls to drive these cars, go flat out. And with Max being already furious with the team before the race, because he wanted to start from the pit lane. He's not happy with the straight line speed. He said, guys, we have a problem. Let's just sort it out. Who cares that I've qualified 6, 7, 8? I just want to have a good car, learn from it, start from the pit lane, and we'll see where we end up. But at least and the team said, no, we have track position. We're going to start on the grid. Well, he was slow on the straights. He was not happy with the balance of the car. And then this issue happened.
Oh, yeah. And then he's in the gravel. And then, of course, on the radio.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
And I don't think it will take, certainly not a degree, to know what he was saying when he said, bleep this car.
Yeah.
Which was quite a statement to make.
Yeah.
And, of course, given all the conjecture, given the speculation about his future, this is not coming at a good time.
No, because prior to Austria, they had this big meeting with the shareholders and top management of Red Bull in Austria, talking about what's going on in the team, how can we make sure we have a good result. Then Austria showed some pace, particular track, great result. But this was devastating for the relationship at the moment.
And the fact that Laurent Mekies came out very much in support of Max's assessment of the problem. It wasn't as if Laurent Mekies was hiding behind Max's mistake. He was saying, no, Max is right, because Max actually said this is dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
This is Austria 1 week, Silverstone the next.
Yeah, and then you lose confidence in the team, and then it just spirals down. You go from bad to worse. And I'm going to tell you, Belgium is not going to be much better, because Belgium, you have fast corners, you have a lot of harvesting. Okay, on the other side, and we also spoke about Paul Monaghan leaving the team, another top-tier employee. Yeah. So yes, there are top teams leaving. It's still a great team, because as an organization, they've done a great job to produce this power unit, which they have. But you're fighting against Ferrari and Mercedes, who have been doing this for 75 years minimum in Formula One. So it's if it's only the power unit the problem, you would sort of respect it more and understand it. But it's a balance issue, it's a mechanical issue, it's a downforce issue, it's a procedure issue. It's not flowing. And he has a great leverage to the team to negotiate. But where are you going to negotiate to? I mean, he can say, I stay with you guys, Red Bull will do anything. If he says, guys, jump, Red Bull say, how high?
Yeah.
If I want a piece of the team, equity of the team, they might give it to him as well. So that's...
You think?
He can negotiate anything he wants to stay with his team, in my opinion. But if you say, I'm going to leave, if you're going to bark without biting, where are you going? Which team will take you? I'm sure Ferrari, the option of Lewis Hamilton is already done for next year. So he's going to stay with the team.
And Charles ain't going anywhere.
And Charles just signed, so he's not going anywhere. Then we have Mercedes, which also have George Russell officially now in the team for 27. But they might pay him off to get Max.
If Max becomes available.
They might pay him off to get Max, but all focus also on Kimi. And McLaren boys are happy. They signed and sealed and delivered.
But you said this last week. But it's Max.
But it's Max. So if you can get him, it will change anything. But then you do have to make a move without knowing exactly what you will get.
Oh, this is it. And that's why I'm intrigued. So I tell you, that's an interesting line that you've given us there. You reckon equity, potentially.
It's the only sort of plus side you can get extra from the team. And Red Bull is known for not giving equity to a team principal. Christian Horner applied for it, didn't get it. Toto Wolff has it at Mercedes. He has the sort of the best package CEO team owner, and successful winning titles and races. I mean, that's the best position you can be. Talking about big team principles back in the paddock, Christian Horner showed up.
Well,
hey, Christian Horner showed up with some flair and some cameras. He really made he looked fresh. He looked smart.
It was his big return.
The big return in the paddock. He said he never missed the Grand Prix since '93. He never missed the British Grand Prix.
And he said it as well.
As a fan,
I did like the interview that he gave. He was like, F1 right now is in a really good place.
Yeah.
And the little twinkle in his eye, he's missing being a key part of it.
Of course. And he started to believe really in himself as well after Netflix. You know, they push you like a Hollywood superstar. And he's done amazing. He was there at the end of the day to promote his book, which is coming out in October, Drive, I think it's called. But it's 20 years of experience in Formula One as a team principal. More than, 9 world championships, a lot.
He's done it all. It's interesting because BYD, there's talk of them coming into the sport 2031. He was talking about the fact, he was hinting that a return may come in the autumn, maybe in the spring of next year. That would rule out BYD if they are some years away from coming into the sport. I read one report, and I know we've talked a lot about Christian Horner on this podcast, that in actual fact, despite the noises we heard about perhaps him and the family not wanting to move to Italy with Ferrari, the reports I was hearing was that he is actually very keen to work for Ferrari.
Well, he looked a bit more Italian dressed. Yeah? He was more, normally he's very British. Yeah. Now it was more like a sort of fashion statement. No, but to be honest, even in Ferrari, if you think about it, he had 4 championships with Vettel, four with Max, and I think 6 constructors. So it's like 14 championships. I mean, massive.
And you
massive.
know what?
One of the best.
I come back to this, and who knows? Fred Vasseur, Ferrari look as if they're on the right track, pardon the pun. They're getting closer. Yeah. But the allure of being the team principal, the man, has to come in there.
It's the same as for a driver. Red overalls, red car is a dream for any driver on the grid. Any driver that says it's not true, they're lying. And as a team principal, it's probably the same. To get them a championship, that's most important. To get them a championship, to get them back to where they belong, Ferrari, as a champion.
Yeah, of all the teams on the grid, as we've said many times before.
They need a championship.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That is the one, whether you're a driver or a team principal.
Well, who knows, it might happen this year.
Well, yeah.
If they keep delivering, if they keep, I think Hungary will be a great track for them. Spa, of course, it's a top 3 driver circuit for any driver out there, so a lot can happen strategy-wise. Yeah, going into the summer, the gap can become even smaller. Yeah,
I'm interested in that. We will build up to that. The other interesting line, obviously George, lucky, he said so himself. He openly admitted. Yeah, he was very fortunate to finish second. He was having a little whinge and a moan. I don't know if you caught that.
And the lap towards when he was doing the pickup on the tires after the finish.
He was talking about the fact I didn't have great straight line speed.
What are you saying?
And straight away, Toto Wolff
not even the engineer, Toto took over.
Toto takes over and says, no, speed was good.
Yeah, speed was good.
There's no issue.
You're very lucky.
Yeah, which I thought, he doesn't, Toto, he's a control freak, doesn't like too much being...
No. He's to be honest, it's not a great look for Mercedes, the reliability issues. Formula One, it's all about showing the high performance, but performance without reliability is worth 0. Look at Kimi Antonelli, look at George Russell in Canada.
I was going to say.
So if you don't want to emphasize it or put any attention towards the fact that you might not be reliable, embrace the P2 in your home race, first podium for George ever in his home Grand Prix. So focus on the good stuff. And George has a feeling or a hand of always focusing on the negative sides. You know, I'm unlucky. I feel a little bit of vibration and this and that. That doesn't make him very popular.
Because obviously you've been there. You've seen it. You've done it. You've got to feed back what you're feeling. But is there a kind of unwritten rule? You don't want to be too negative and an open...
No, but you have to also be a motivator, right? There's like... Of course, if things don't go your way, and like when Max's situation, you motivate the whole organization by showing your frustration. You have to hit your fist on the table once in a while. But if everything goes sort of okay, you shouldn't moan too much. Because there are like 1,500 people working for you.
Well, Max was quick to do that because he had his little moan and then he quickly said, it's not one individual who's at fault here. It's the collective.
Yeah, it's collective.
We've all got to work.
And I'm sure the team said to him, don't moan too much before the race on the radio, because he was quiet for a couple of laps. I was listening to the radio. I thought, okay, this is quiet. So he's sort of fuming. The fume starts coming out of his ears. And then he went on the radio. Hey guys, I've been quiet for a couple of laps, but I have to say the gear shifts are bleep shit. The gear shifts. So it really, right? So he's trying, but the passion and the adrenaline goes where
the frustration.
Yeah.
You've got to manage it though, right?
Yeah, you got to manage it. Anger management.
How did you manage it?
Anger management. Well, the radio was quite poor in my McHardy days. If I was in turn 5, there was no reception anymore, so I could shout what I want. Nobody could hear me.
That's what happens when you've got no budget.
Exactly. We had to flip a coin for the power steering before the weekend started. Can you imagine?
Who's getting
50K. Who's getting it? Well, I call my sponsor. Maybe I can get a 50K power steering unit on the car. Yeah,
it's brilliant. I love it. Back in the good old days.
Yeah.
But Max, unhappy. I mean, ultimately, only time will tell just how unhappy he is and what the decision will be. I know we said it last week. We still, and I'd still be in the camp of he'll stick it out at Red Bull, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing about Formula One. If you look back at this podcast in a couple of weeks, it
changes.
It changes really fast because there's development ongoing. Ferrari's going all in with their budget now. Mercedes has spread it out a bit more with the updates, so they might be good in Zandvoort. It changes so fast, but that's the fun part of this sport as well. The only place where it doesn't change is Aston Martin, because they've been shit all season. Look at Lance Stroll finishing last with 21 track limits. I mean, that's just, The only highlight for Alonso was winning the Lego kart race. Well, that was the highlight of the weekend. It's terrible. It's not going anywhere.
No,
and it's their home race. They're the team that is closest to the Formula One entry of Silverstone. Outside of the main gate, that's where their facility is. That's Aston Martin. That's where it used to be Jordan. You know the story of Jordan when he sold his team to Vijay Mallya from Force India? He sold his whole organization. So Vijay bought the team of Eddie. Eddie said, thank you very much, got the money, gone. Then Vijay showed up Monday morning with his trucks, and there was a blockade of concrete blocks to enter the facility. So they couldn't enter. And there was this small piece of road that connects sort of the island of the factory towards the main road. But that small piece of road was not in the contract. That was owned by the wife of Eddie Jordan. And that was if you want to buy that as well, you have to make a separate agreement. But he forgot to mention that in his agreement. So the team was stuck there. They couldn't enter their facilities. Had to call Eddie. He said, yeah, if you can buy that piece of land as well, it's from my wife. I'll ask her what she wants for it. And he got a huge amount of money for a small piece of road. They had to buy. But this is Eddie. We miss him. Dear Eddie, we miss you. But you have had, and then you can write a book about Eddie with all these type of stories.
Proper salesman.
Proper salesman.
And his wife.
You snooze, you lose.
Yes. I love that saying myself. Snooze, you lose.
Exactly.
Especially in the world of F1. It is, coming back to the Aston Martin thing though, all that money spent and their home race would have not been a happy weekend for the sponsors. How embarrassed do you think they are? Inviting the sponsors.
It's very hard also for their social media team, their marketing. There's no highlight. There's nothing you can because it's just not going anywhere.
You're posting up Fernando winning the Lego race.
Yeah, that's it.
That's your highlight.
And then Adrian Newey is saying, I feel better. Well, good for him. But it's not bringing the organization something, and the value of the whole project is down. But as we said in our other podcast, it can change to next year because they've written off this season. It's just a very painful season if you have to write it off after race 1. Because then you still have 8 months to go before you see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And that's the travesty of it all.
That's true.
For the expectation that was on there.
Yeah.
For the season to be
written. And Adrian says, please, Fernando, stay with us. He's really almost begging Fernando to sign for another year because he didn't work properly with Fernando. Because you cannot work on setup if the car is this, the vibrations at the early part of the season. Now the engine is still not performing great, but the mechanical side is not good. So they're just nowhere.
It is nowhere, and it will be that way until the end of the year. Not so for Ferrari, not so for Mercedes. McLaren, another weekend
invisible.
Goes by. Lando finished 4th.
Yeah.
Didn't see any
but
of
Lando is looks so much more relaxed. In his interview, he's like really laid back, but he knows this number 1 on his car and his steering wheel will disappear at the end of the year, and he might not get it back ever again. It's he's not the world champion that is able to defend his title because the car is not good enough. But the whole team seems to me a bit like, even Oscar Piastri, there's one of those Sundays. I got sandwiched into turn 6, lost my front wing. Drove a bit in the back. The pace seemed okay. Bye, guys, I'm off. See you in Belgium. Like, there's
an acceptance.
There's an acceptance that the whole season is, gone. You can't defend your titles.
But what's that?
But that's also Formula One. It can change so quickly. 4 years ago, McLaren had not one sponsor on the car. They were running last, like Aston Martin is. And the past 3 years, they have been winning championships and titles and races.
And they get it done. And they did get it done. Of course, they've won the last 2 Constructors' Championships. Lando is the defending
world
champion. And yet, they're nowhere.
They're nowhere.
I mean, you don't want to be in the backfield. At least they're up at the top end. But ultimately, the storylines are the 2 Mercedes boys. Ferrari returning to somewhere close to where they should be. And then obviously Max will always dominate the conversation. It's interesting you talk about the end to his weekend being a frustrating one. Out-qualified by Isaac Hadjar.
Isaac is having a great season.
Is he?
For Isaac as a teammate to out-qualify Max 3 times.
3 times.
To score points regularly. I mean, his low point was Miami this year, but where he was just, he crashed the car a few times, whatever. But he recovered. Got a podium in Monaco. Had to give it back to Pierre Gasly afterwards, but at least he has the picture. Pierre doesn't. Hey, that's probably big up in his room. And I think as a second driver at Red Bull, he's doing a great job. But that was anticipated because the rules and regulations are new. So he starts from scratch with Max. But it also shows when Max is not able to deliver the performance, then the gap to a teammate gets closer. Nothing to take away from Isaac, but Red Bull Racing is not here to finish 5th, 6th, 4th, 5th. It's a championship-winning team. So therefore, same with Max. He's not here to drive in the midfield. They're both there to win.
Ultimately, that's why Max will have a little bit of soul-searching.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of conversations in the next few weeks, as there was, as that camera lens caught the boys having a chat, and it was animated.
But if you see, we all know, and the whole paddock knows, if Jos and Raymond walks up to you like that, then it's not a nice position to be in, because they're very emotional and
dare I say it,
passionate.
Robert, dare I say it, don't take this the wrong way, they're very Dutch.
They're very Dutch.
So
we're known for being very direct as well. I always say it in advance. You know me by now. It's nothing personal, but I'm going to say it as it is. And that's, there are different phases of being Dutch. Let's call them double Dutch.
Those 2 fellas coming up.
But it got them where they are as well.
Especially Jos.
Yeah, especially
there's a man that, and even Max. Like Max has built a career for being cutthroat behind the wheel.
But that's the thing. People always say, he has to be loyal to the team. They gave him so much. But let's try to be honest. You can also be a bit more selfish. Because, yes, Red Bull gave you a lot of opportunity. And he's always grateful for that. But Red Bull gave him the opportunity. He also gave them 4 world championships. So you have to push each other to the limit. And that's what they're doing.
Can I ask, coming back to the end of the race, ultimately under the safety car, what could the FIA, what could the powers that be tweak to ensure that, moving forward, in a similar situation, as a lot of people pointed out, I think it was George Russell said, guys, in 20 years of racing, we've only had a few races finish under a safety car. So it's not like it's an issue that happens every single week. But if you were to tweak it moving forward, is it a case of saying, right, it's obviously going to be make sure that the circuit is safe for everyone. But once the back markers have unlapped themselves, once they get past the safety car,
go. And then obviously in 21 we all know what happened when Michael Masi said when he bended the rules a little bit in not in favor of any driver, in my opinion, because he's neutral, but in favor of the sport. We should
in favor of the show
of the sport, because at the end of the day, after a season like that, you cannot finish under a safety car. And that's very unfortunate for any Lewis Hamilton fan out there. And Lewis is still frustrated, and everybody's frustrated about it.
Did you see what Lewis said? Did you see his comments yesterday? So George gave his spiel.
Yeah.
And then Lewis just went, yep, what he said. Nothing else to add.
Okay, because he doesn't want to get back into that.
He does not.
I think mentally he closed it. It took him a couple of years to close this off. He doesn't want to talk about it. I know Toto Wolff said, thank God the rules are interpreted like they should be. I wish it was done in 21.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, try to be a bit more flexible. I know it can be a gray area, but the situation with Kimi Antonelli with his 5-second penalty, you have to just make sure you're more flexible. Some stewards have to be there and say, no, this is a driver situation. This is a particular situation. Forget about the rules. But for the show, it would have been so much more fun if you just let them race to the finish.
Because it was interesting. I was fully expecting us to be chatting this morning about Lewis getting another 5-second penalty for the yellow flag infringement. No Lando knows.
Yeah.
We're straight on the radio to say, Lewis.
He was flat out.
Flat out.
When Nico Hülkenberg parked his car. Yeah.
And yet, he was only given a little bit of a ticking off.
Had to go to the stewards. He knew when he walked up to the stewards, I'm going to lose my podium. But yeah, thank God that didn't happen for the championship fight.
Are you all in favour? What's the general consensus? You drivers, you don't like seeing podiums and then drivers being...
No, of course not. It happens. But if you know that under a yellow flag, like in the old days in the junior formulas, you had to raise your hand, like in karting and Formula. If you see a yellow flag, you're like, yeah, I saw it. I used to go flat out and raise my hand. My hand was almost out of the cockpit. And like, you try. You try. Like, But Lewis knew that he made a mistake there with that car in Cops. And he saw the yellow too late, he said. So with all the data on the car, all the sensors, all the cameras on the track, it's hard to lie nowadays or to get away with it. So he got away with it.
He did get it.
Because it was a safety. The car was parked on the inside of Nico, so it was a sort of a safe yellow, but it's yellow.
Any part of the fact that he's British, it was Silverstone.
2 Brits on the podium. Anyway, if one Brit would fall off, the other Brit would be promoted, Lando Norris. So I don't think it's is that.
Quiz question for you this week. How many podiums has Lewis now had at Silverstone?
Ooh. I know he won.
He's won it 9.
9 times. Out of, 20 times he participated.
How many podiums?
15.
Oh, 16.
16? Oh.
That was his 16th podium.
Yeah, it was prior to the weekend 15.
I see what you've done. I'll let you off with that. 16 podiums.
Wow, that's impressive.
And it's amazing. Listen, George is a hometown hero. Lando's obviously...
But if you hear Lewis, his fan base, 7-time world champion.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
He
really has done amazing stuff. His first year in a McLaren, in the wet, his first victory there, I think he lapped the whole field almost. He's showed some extreme pace around this place.
We've talked a lot about kind of his place. Now that you've seen him this year, from last year, and we've spoken a lot about what a low ebb he was on. He was just a shell of the Lewis Hamilton that we all knew, or the people that listen and watch this podcast, huge Lewis Hamilton fans. From what you've seen this year, can he win an 8th?
Well, I've got even more respect for Lewis, the way he came back from his sort of mental situation, because after 21 championship that he lost, in 22 and 23, that was not his best years at Mercedes.
Coming off of 25.
25 was also very difficult. To come back like this, and we're not only... And to have the strength at his age, 40 plus in Formula 1, 20 plus years he's been competing, to still motivate yourself physically and mentally, change all the people around you, and to come back this strong. Very impressive, with the media just hunting you and writing you down. Yes, I think he has the possibility to win the championship this year. Definitely. He has now the tools. It's just a matter of there's so many factors that come into play. Is all the budget being spent now until just after summer, and at the end of the year they have no more time for updates? Then other teams will, pass you.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's hard to say. But all roads lead to Abu Dhabi. Hopefully in Abu Dhabi we have another big final, as we have seen many times in the past. And he's in it to win it.
Yeah, speaking of Abu Dhabi, of course, the final race, as it has been now since the first
17
race
years,
back in 2009, the first race in Abu Dhabi. We are expecting a little bit of maybe an announcement in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be a little bit of jostling for maybe getting another race back onto the calendar. That would be great. I know there's been a lot of speculation over that. Maybe we get a Saudi back.
Yeah.
Maybe I've said to you whispers about maybe after Baku, after the summer break, which let's hope, because
it would be great. And
if that's the case, we're only 9 races down. We've still got
such a strange season actually.
It's been. It feels as if the season's been going on an age, Feels like we've talked about it an awful lot, but yeah, we're only 9 races in.
Only 9 races in, not even halfway.
Not even
a lot can
halfway.
happen.
And you're going to be a busy boy in the next few weeks. Where are you? Are you in Belgium?
Well, I'm going to the Belgium Grand Prix, Belgium, and then there's Hungary straight after. Then there's the summer break.
And then you're going home.
Then I'm traveling in Europe. I'll be at the Dutch Grand Prix, of course. The final lap, they call it. It's the final time we have the Dutch Grand Prix. It's going to be a big show. And Sunday night I fly back to meet you here on Monday morning with the same red eyes that you have now, but I probably use some eye drips. And then hopefully we can discuss a great Dutch Grand Prix.
It's going to be, the next 2 races are biggies though. They're
They're
biggies
biggies before the summer break. Then there's official 2-week lockdown for all the employees of the Formula 1 teams.
No touching of the
cars.
cars.
No touching the cars. Everybody has to go on a break, chill, relax, come back. Just, I think, 2 weeks before the Dutch Grand Prix.
Tell me this though, be honest. Obviously, Mercedes happy in the sense that Kimi leads the way.
Of course.
George obviously has closed the gap, but with Kimi not finishing in 2 of the last 3 races.
Yeah. Reliability is becoming a thing, eh?
Yeah, inside the corridors of power there. A little bit of concern.
Yeah. Yes, because I think Toto knows very well you can have the most competitive package, but if you don't have the reliability to back it, and they had some engine issues they got on top of it when George just stopped on track with his car, and Kimi had it as well. Yesterday was a reliability issue. The brake duct can break, but Kimi is also running different lines than George. He's taking always more curb. He's more aggressive in his lines, takes shorter lines. It shouldn't fill, but it gives him a little bit of headache, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so too. One last question for you, Robert. You're the kind of man that strikes me as never the kind of guy that would get starstruck. Ferrari garage yesterday, we had Sir Mo Farah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, of course, 5,000, 10,000 metre double Olympic champion. You had Hugh Grant. He had hot-footed from the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding in New York to be there. You had Sir Brian May, of course, of Queen fame.
Yeah.
Of all the celebs that you've come across in the garage in your Formula One days, you must have a story for us.
Must have
Who did you get starstruck by? Who were you fanboying?
Fanboying.
And back in those days, it would have been the Kodak.
It's not
cameras.
that long ago.
Yeah, it is. You're an old man these days. Kodak disposed. Was there anyone?
I think Usher in the garage was quite
nice.
cool. I remember this when he was on the top of his prime, you know, with the songs, and I had this Italian teammate, Vitantonio Liuzzi. He knew all these moves as well, so he was moving like Usher through the garage always. But he's a cool guy, right?
Very.
Charismatic when he walks in, and that reminds me. I didn't party with him. I would love to try one. What to be honest, what I was most starstruck was Michael Schumacher, and that's not because he's an outside superstar from Hollywood, but it was just, in my opinion, Michael Schumacher. And I went to Jimmy's nightclub in Monaco with Michael Schumacher, sharing a table with Michael Schumacher. And he actually, at that night, he said, give me your number so we can hook up later. And I was like, this is one of the guys, you know, but I've always been starstruck with Michael Schumacher. That's why I still feel so bad with you know, what's going on, because he's still with us, but he's not with us.
Well, did he have that reverence?
Yeah, he had this aura when he walked into the paddock that he changed completely. He would be with you in the car, for example, to the track, and then be like you and me, we're just talking, and then he would go outside. He becomes this Michael Schumacher machine,
where he's just laser focused.
And people say he's not nice or whatever. No, he is. He's just really good in his job. And then outside, if we play football together, for example, for this charity match, he was Michael again. You can laugh with him, but I was always starstruck about Michael Schumacher.
But DC said stone cold killer.
Stone cold killer, and also really nice guy, family guy, obviously a great entrepreneur as well. But he's still the only driver that was able to switch teams and get Ferrari back on top. Vettel tried it, Alonso tried it, now Lewis is trying it.
Great, well, Lewis bidding to become the first driver to win a world championship with 3 different teams.
Yeah,
I do hope he does it.
Yeah.
We need to get him on this podcast as
well.
Yeah,
let's try that when he's retired.
I want to say congratulations to you, just moving away from the glitz and the glamour of F1, because we're, of course, based over here in the United Arab Emirates. You are a bit like Michael, not as good of a driver as Michael.
No, thank you.
But from an entrepreneurial standpoint, Rob, you are doing some great stuff. You've launched a motorsport academy over here.
at my kids' school at
That's
James
amazing.
SRI Motorsport Academy, together with Ollie Milroy, GT driver for Ferrari. His kids are also in school, and we went with our boys to the go-kart track, hoping that they have some of the, the feeling, something with an apple and a tree. My kid, by the way, went flat out, went over another kid on the kart, came back in. I said, how was it? Okay, did something happen? No. I was like, okay, you're really a Doornbos. So no fear there. But we're thinking about how cool would it be if you can give the next generation something special. So we put together the Gems SRI School, Dubai Car Track, Excel Motorsports car team, and we said, okay, we're going to launch this Motorsport Academy where on school they get a sort of CCA where they can drive a simulator. It's like a fixed curriculum in school. My simulators, which is cool that they can try that. Then they can go to the Dubai Kart and under guidance of us, they can get car tracking lessons to see if they have the experience in real life. And hopefully we can create, between schools in the UAE, a challenge, an eSport challenge, but also create the next superstar that makes it all the way to F1. And that it can not only be as a driver, but it can also be as an engineer or a mechanic. There's so many aspects, so many angles.
Just make sure
to sign up this kid.
I was going to say, just keep our 5%.
A little tickle for us, for the podcast.
For the podcast. That's the only way I think we'll stay in the game, if we've got that little tickle. However that looks like.
The pit talk has to be on a shirt, no matter where he goes.
But that's brilliant.
Yeah, really good feedback.
And we've talked a lot about, obviously, Yas Marina Circuit, Yas Heat, doing their bit for the future generations. It's becoming a real hotbed, is the United Arab Emirates.
Can you imagine? We have 4 races in the region, and I think in the near future, maybe 5. It would be fantastic if we have a UAE national on the grid or on the pit wall as a strategist or working as an engineer, as a team boss. It would be great. The Formula One sport is growing rapidly in the region. Therefore we're here and we're giving away tickets and we can do a lot with the podcast.
Watch this space on that front. Right, we've got a couple of weeks until the next installment, race 10. 2 weeks off, then we're heading to Belgium. You're going to be there, so our next time that we meet up will be
virtual
remote.
And update from one of the best tracks in the world.
Yeah, you've talked about Spa a lot. Who will it favour?
It's a Mercedes track, definitely. But Lewis Hamilton has been very successful there in the past. I think Ferrari can do well if they take a bit more risk with their settings of charging and deployment, because the launch of the grid is not that important because you have long straights. Max, you can never rule him out. It's sort of his home track. But I think they will struggle with the engine.
Yeah, well, listen, the next 2 races are big for the future of Max Verstappen. Yeah. Right, if I lean into the camera, you will see how red my eyes are. I am done. It's 24 hours.
Go to bed.
I need a nap. I need that. Go to bed. Okay,
I'll
take your advice. Pit Talk, powered by Ithara, AbuDhabiGP.com. I will say that and reiterate that again. Tickets still available, of course, for the Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're going to be there. We're cooking up a storm.
We're going to take this whole showroom there.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot around the final race of the season. Fingers crossed, we've still got a Drivers' Championship.
Yes.
Got a lot of races, an awful lot to pass between now and then. For us now, though, that is it. Done and dusted. Yet again, we'll be back to reflect on the Belgian Grand Prix. Robert, safe travels.
Good night.
Next time you see me,
sleep well.
I'll have some eye drops in. Ta-ra for now.